Cameras. I have a lot of cameras. I've been shooting film for about 3 years now, and my collection of cameras has changed a lot since then. I did a video like this about a year ago. I've got a lot of cameras. I've got a lot of cool cameras. I've got cameras I've never used before, so I'm going to talk about them. This is my 2024 camera collection. I've also got a shit ton of lenses. I'm going to try and not talk about lenses because we will be here all day. Starting off, I'm going to go over the cameras I actively use a lot. This is my baby, my Yashica 24. This is my TLR. I am in love with this thing. This is my favourite camera. I absolutely love shooting medium format and shooting square format. And this does not disappoint. I mainly got a TLR originally because of how much I loved Vivian Maier's work, so this is just me trying to be Vivian Maier. Really cool story about this one actually. I got this off eBay, and the person who had it before me got it from a police auction because this used to be used as a crime scene camera, which is so cool. And I also got lenses for the TLR when I bought it, this being like a telephoto lens that you can put to the top, which is really cool in my opinion. I don't really use these too often. I have a telephoto, a wide angle and a macro lens, but you know, the TLR, it never disappoints. I absolutely love the thing. Next up is my go-to 35mm. The Nikon F2. I've actually got a roll of film in this at the moment, shooting some expired Lloyd's Pharmacy Color 200 film. This thing is a beast. I've really fallen in love with this probably the last month or two, but I've had it nearly a year. I've had a few issues with the DP1 prism I have on the top, which makes me have to like externally light meter all my images, which I don't really mind. It's amazing, this camera though. It's got a great series of lenses. I love how heavy it is. It's not heavy, but it's got a nice weight to it. It smells good and it sounds good when you shoot it. Also, of course, the Nikon F2 has a waist level viewfinder, which I am a sucker for. You'll see a running trend in this video. I love waist level viewfinders, just like my TLR. But yeah, pretty little thing. While on the topic of 35mm cameras, it is my Olympus AF1 Super. This little point and shoot does not miss. I made a video on this literally the other day. I love this camera. It's so nifty and portable, and you can't really go wrong with an Olympus point and shoot, and I definitely love this one. I did used to have the AF1 Twin, which had 2 lenses, which I really loved. This one's just a basic 35mm lens. And finally, in cameras that I use regularly is my Polaroid 600. I like to say I use this regularly, but with the price of the film, I do not use this regularly. I think I've put 3 packs of film through this in the year I've had it, which is atrocious, but you know, the film is expensive. I have got another pack that I am going to shoot soon though, so expect a video soon with this. Really cool cameras, and my little Polaroid 600 business edition is really, really cute. However, you can get loads of like limited edition Polaroid cameras, like I think there's a Hello Kitty one, there's a Barbie one. This one just being all basic and black is kind of boring. And that is like my go-to 4 main cameras. So now we've got a shit ton of more cameras to talk about. If you've watched my channel for no amount of time, you've definitely seen me use the Box Brownie #2. I adore this thing. This is one of the oldest cameras I own. I think it's about 100 years old. It is literally a 120 6x9 box camera. It has 2 shutter speeds, bulb and 1/50th, and 2 apertures, f8 and f11. I last used this recently in a series of self-portraits that turned out really good. I think it's a really cool camera. I absolutely love how it looks. I really think when a camera is so limited in what it can do, it really breeds innovation and how you take your images. Similarly to that camera is a recent pickup actually. This is a Ensign Full View, which is pretty much similar to a Box Brownie. I think it's a 620 camera, but this one is a TLR. It's got an amazing waist level viewfinder on the top, and the clarity of this thing is like the reason I brought it. I haven't had a chance to play around with it, but I imagine it does work. Just actually looking for your viewfinder though, it's crazy how clear it is. I love it. And it's so small and cute. That's why I got it. This is more of like a shelf piece than a camera I would use, I think. Next on the list is the Dresden A1. This I got in an eBay bundle with 9 other cameras for like £40. I was mainly buying it for a Holga, but we'll get onto that later. And I didn't even know what this was. I've done some research. I think it's a wet plate camera, which has like a bit on the back normally. However, mine didn't come with that, so it just has an empty back. But it's a pretty cool camera. I've put darkroom paper in it before and taken images on it, and the results have been pretty cool. Most recently, I tried to make a video, I think like a week or 2 ago, where I was doing in-camera cyanotypes. Not a single one came out. It was so demotivating because of how well I filmed the video. I felt like, I'm cooking, this video is going to be really good. And then it wasn't. This camera is really cool, and one of my favourite things about this camera actually, it is a folding camera. That's how big it is. It's crazy. It's tiny, and then you just click the button on the top and you put it out again. It's crazy. While on the theme of folding cameras, if you're a fan of the channel, you've probably seen my video on this, the Agfa Isoletti 2. This thing's adorable. It's a 6x6 medium format camera, and it just folds out like that. I don't really have a good reason to use it because it's technically not a great camera compared to my TLR, so I don't end up picking it up. It's cool and gimmicky that it can fit in your pocket and it can fold, and it's really nice for those reasons. But overall, I just don't really see myself picking it up much, which is a shame. While on the theme of 6x6 cameras, this is the Holga I mentioned before. I was going to make a video on this camera. It's one of the main reasons I got it, but I never got around to using it. There's kind of like a notorious thing around the Holga in the camera community that it is a piece of shit plastic camera. But it's a silly little camera. I've seen a lot of cool like lo-fi photography taken on these kind of things. I definitely do want to use it before I sell it, but I'm probably likely to get rid of this one soon. And while I'm all speaking about lo-fi kind of plastic cameras, here is a much cooler one that I picked up the other day at a charity shop. This is the Diane F. I am a big fan of anything lomography. I have a Diane F keyring, and now I have the actual camera. Crazy. I went to a charity shop while waiting for the bus one day, saw this, and I was like, I'm instantly getting this. Best part is it came with all its accessories as well. I'm so excited to get around to using it. This camera can shoot 35mm and 120. You just have to change the back, which is really cool. Little flash, which can also be removed if you don't want to use it. Even cooler, the lens can come off and it can be used as a pinhole camera. That is so cool. I cannot wait to do some pinholes on 35mm film or something. Like, I'm really excited to use this camera. This one's a bit of a niche camera in my collection. It's the Coronet 127 film camera. This used to be my grandpa's. It's probably the only camera I got from a family member. I'm just gonna keep it around because it's a nice sentimental camera. Because it takes 127 film, it's kind of a pain to use because it isn't as produced as most other film stocks, and it's quite expensive when it is produced. I have stuck some 35mm film on some 127 backing paper before and took some images. I think that was during my A-levels. But it's cute to have around. I definitely do want to make a video on it where I use it again. This is the Micro 3A. It is a sub-miniature film camera. When I say this is tiny, it is miniature. As you can see, tiny camera. But the crazy thing about it, it is a fully functioning camera. It has a viewfinder, shutter speeds, aperture, and you could put film in it. The film is obviously not made anymore, but I have put darkroom paper in it and taken a few images, so I do want to make a video on this. It's definitely a cool camera, and I think it has a cool story to tell. So other cameras I want to make videos on include this 99p point and shoot. I think a video about how you don't need a good camera to take good photos would be good with this camera. I just actually need to get around to using it. My sister gave me this from a car boot sale she went to, and it literally is a 99p point and shoot. There is no details about the camera whatsoever. It just functions as a point and shoot, kind of like a disposable camera, and I think I could make a cool video with this. In a similar vein, this is my first 35mm camera. I nabbed this from my room when I went home for Christmas, I think. This is a piece of shit. It is so of its time in 2021, covered in different stickers. I remember using this and having multiple issues while using it. None of my images turned out good back then anyway, so it's fine. I'll kind of bungle these two cameras together. These are my two 110 film cameras. This is the Mini Instamatic S30, which I have made a full dedicated video on. It actually has some film in it at the moment. 110 film cameras are so crazy cute. They were kind of like the go-to camera before 35mm point and shoots became very popular. Everyone and their mums had a 110 film camera. Especially these Kodak Extralights. These are very popular 110 film cameras, and they're very charming. I've never used this one, but I have used the Mini Instamatic, and I absolutely love the images it's taken. It's so cute and silly. It's a little point and shoot camera with a little keychain that can fit in your pocket. Okay, we've got about 6 35mm camera bodies to go through now. This is the Pentax ME, which was one of my favorite cameras until recently it stopped working. I made a video where I tried to repair it and I got it kind of working again, but not fully. I still don't like how it sounds when film advances. So I'm kind of just putting this on the back burner, being like, I can't use this camera anymore, which is a shame because it was my favorite camera. I used it for everything. And you know, it's been with me for probably about 2 years, so I really love this camera. But recently, I acquired a Pentax ME Super. I had a friend who had a bunch of cameras and lenses that she didn't want anymore, and I was like, okay, I'll take them all, don't give them away. So I brought them off her, and this was one of the cameras. I haven't tested if this works, but if this does work, I'm going to be very happy. The Pentax ME Super is literally just the upgraded version of the ME, which would be really convenient to have, and I've got loads of really good lenses for this thing. This is the Praktica L, which is a camera I've never used before, but I am so in love with. These kind of early Prakticas are just so beautiful. I love the boxy camera design. It's such like a nostalgic kind of like, this is what a film camera looks like, and it takes M42 screw mount lenses, which are some of my favorite lenses. I have a Helios 44-2 here, which I've adapted to my digital camera, which I use quite often while making videos. And I've also got a Helios 44M. But yeah, these cameras and these lenses in general, I absolutely love them to bits. I can't even remember how I acquired this camera, to be honest. It was probably from like an antique store or a charity shop, but it's a very pretty camera, and it's a shame I haven't used it. In the same kind of line as the Prakticas, I've got a Zenit here. I used to have a whole Zenit collection. I actually still do at home. I've got like 2 or 3 of those Zenit camera bodies. But this is the Zenit TTL, and it's got to be my favorite Zenit. If you don't know, these cameras were made by the USSR and they are notoriously faulty. I think all the other Zenits I have shutter issues, but this one thankfully doesn't. I have actually used this. Beautiful shutter sound, beautiful looking camera body, and it takes M42 lenses. I love this thing, but I haven't used it in about a year, I think. This is another one I got off of my friend when she was just getting rid of some cameras. This is a Canon AE1. I love this thing. Canon AE1s are a very popular film camera. This is unfortunately broken. The shutter doesn't advance, which means I can't fire the shutter either. I have taken it apart at the bottom and manually kind of tested it, and it's not a shutter issue, it is an advance issue. However, I have not got the tools to repair it myself. And you know, I get the hype, it's a very pretty camera. Even if I did get this working, I probably wouldn't keep it because I have the Nikon F2, which I like more. Oh my god, and how did I forget about you? Okay, this is probably the coolest camera I have in my collection. I found this in a charity shop. This is a Dalek Cam point and shoot. Doctor Who used to do like a kids magazine obviously, and one of the toys that I had with it was a point and shoot film camera. I think this expired in 2007 and it's an ISO 200 film, so this is cucked. I'm never going to be able to use this, but it's so cool seeing it in its packaging still. I love it to bits. Honestly, I don't think I'd ever use it. It's just like a nice combination of I really like film and I really like Doctor Who. Now I've got a fucking Doctor Who film camera. How did I forget about that? Oh my god, that should be like at the front of my collection. I think that's everything I have at uni. Worst part is, I have probably about 20 more cameras at home. Guess who went home last week and collected a bunch more of those cameras? I must greatly apologize for the mess. I live like this. I'm gonna make this really quick because this video is already so long, so we're just gonna speed run this shit. Here's the Olympus AF1 Twin I talked about earlier that I said I upgraded from. This shit is broken. Lol. This is a Patricia Super TL. Cool. This is a Kodak Cresta 3, which is the second ever medium format camera I got. I originally had the Kodak Cresta 2 and I didn't like how it looked, and I really liked how this one looked, so I picked this guy up. It's a shit camera. Oh, here's the Helena X35. I'm gonna make a video on this guy soon, calling it like the poor man's Leica, because this shit is trying to be on Leica so hard. Look at that fucking logo, red circle. It thinks it's a Leica, even opens from the bottom. This shit is ass. I got this Rebel 2000, which was the first like 35mm SLR I owned. Oh god, what else do I have? Oh, this is my first TLR, the Helena A1. I have a video coming out on the square format soon, so this is like the reason I picked this up, so I could talk about this camera. There's like a Fuji STX1 in here that I can't be asked to open the case. Oh, that's just really cool. I'm gonna have to put you down. So this is like a really old Kodak camera. You have like the old Kodak logo. Open this shit up. It's another fucking folding camera. I think the final thing, well, like not a camera, I found this at a charity shop, which is like a bellows, which allows you to do macro photography. And it came with another Helios 44-2 lens. But look at this shit. This is like a weapon. You've got a Patricia L, the bellows, and a Helios 44-2. And you just like extend it and you can duplicate film by putting it through here. I can't wait to do some crazy stuff with this. But it's a fucking weapon. In conclusion, I have way too many cameras and oh my god, I look like shit. Guess who has more cameras? Oh my god. So I completely forgot I had this beautiful thing and I have to talk about this camera because I love it. Okay, so this is another Practica, but it's a more recent model than the other ones that I showed in this video. Long-time viewers of the channel might recognize this baby. This is the BC1, and I use this religiously as my 35mm camera during first year of uni. This was when I had the Pentax ME. I would actively use this more, even though the Pentax ME is technically better. I just think this camera looks so cute. It sounds amazing as well. There's so much to love about it. Got a nice little nifty 50 lens on here. And I also had a 35-70 and a 2x telephoto converter. And this adorable little case. And then I eventually bought the Nikon F2. I was like, okay, I've got to stop using this if I'm buying an F2 because F2 is expensive. This is not expensive. So I was meant to sell this, but then I didn't. So I've had it this whole time. I am 90% certain that's all the cameras I own. I'm a fucking idiot! So this is another camera that's just on the side. This is one of my favorite box brownies I own. It's the Brownie Flash 4. Nothing special about it. Just look at the color of it. It's this beautiful cream and brown. It looks so cute. It sounds so cute. Anyway, that should be everything. I have so many cameras going on from this video. I am going to try and downgrade, you know, sell a bunch off, say some hard goodbyes, I guess. But thanks for watching me ramble for however long this video is. It's been half an hour for me. I don't know how much I've cut this video down. Thank you for watching as always. Matt out.